All right, hello everyone. Again, my name is Vipul Raheja, and I'm an applied research scientist at Grammarly. And I'll be presenting my research on iterative text editing done together with my excellent coworkers and collaborators over the last year. As a disclaimer, this is not part of the Grammarly product offerings, but rather an independent research into how humans revise text and how we can make the process more efficient and effective. So in this talk, I'll first describe the writing process, then go over the task of iterative revision, describe our framework and findings for iterative text revision, and followed by conclusions and upcoming future work. Great. So a bit about the writing process. Click. All right, so there has been extensive research done on the theory of writing dating as far back as the 80s. It describes writing as an effortful and complex cognitive task where writers balance and orchestrate three different cognitive processes: planning, translation, and revising. However, contrary to the theory, in practice, the writing process is not linear. It is actually recursive. It jumps back or leaps forward. And this work focuses on text revision as an essential part of the writing process. Writing revision as part of this writing process is essential because it enables writers to deliberate over the different steps, organize their thoughts, find a better line of argument, learn fresh, and discover what was not known before. So specifically, it involves identifying discrepancies between what they wrote and what they intended to write, and trying to reduce the gap between the two. So it's not only strategic, not only adaptive, but more importantly, an iterative process. And as humans, we are unable to simultaneously comprehend a lot of these challenging demands of the task, which forces us as human writers to make certain assumptions at every step, leading to revisions. So we first define so a little bit more about the writing process. More specifically, iterative text revision. We first define an edit action. An edit action is a local change that's applied to a certain text object. It includes insertion, deletion, modification. And these edit actions operate at multiple granularities: word level, sentence level, or paragraph level. We also define edit intention. Edit intention reflects the revising goal of the writer when making a certain edit action. And in this work, we assume each edit action will only be labeled with one edit intention. And finally, we define a document revision, where a set of edit actions conditioned by their respective edit intentions are applied to a document. And then it leads to a new document version. A document will typically undergo multiple iterations of revision, a process that we study in this work. So how did we approach this problem and the gaps in prior work? First, we created a novel generalizable edit intention taxonomy, which I'll talk about next. Using this taxonomy, we collected a complex text editing annotations with crowdsourcing across different domains and different dimensions. Using this data set that we collected, we computationally modeled the process of iterative text revision using state-of-the-art text editing and text generation techniques. And finally, we provide insights into the modeling challenges of this task. And after that, we built a human-in-the-loop text editing system, which makes the revision process more interpretable and efficient. So let's dive deeper into the edit intention taxonomy that we proposed. So we first collected and analyzed thousands of raw documents across different domains and their edits. We then came up with a new edit intention taxonomy to comprehensively model the iterative text revision process that builds on prior literature. So at the highest level, we have the edit intentions, which we categorize into two categories: ones that change the meaning of the text, and second, which do not change the meaning of the text. And since our goal is to understand edit intentions to improve the quality of writing, we focus on categorizing edits in the second category into further subcategories. So the first one is edits that help help with the fluency, grammatical correctness of the text, edits that help with making the text more readable, edits that help make the text more cohesive, logically linked, and consistent as a whole. And then finally, edits that convey the writer's writing preferences, including their emotions, their tone, their voice, and so on. And in general, we can see that this edit intention taxonomy is generally applicable to different domains, different edit intention granularities, and different revision depths. So let's dive a little deeper into the data set that we collected based off of this edit intention taxonomy that we proposed. So we first collect a huge set of raw documents where each document comes with its own revision or versioning history. If you have Wikipedia articles or archive papers, each of them have been iteratively edited and persisted as new versions. So for each document, we sort each version according to the timestamp in ascending order and pair two consecutive versions as one revision. So in this case, you can see three versions, but they're paired as two revisions at different revision depths. And then for each sampled document revision, we extract the full set of edit actions that it has. And then we use Amazon Mechanical Turk to crowdsource edit intention annotations for each of these edit actions according to our taxonomy. We then use a combination of human annotations and edit intent prediction models to construct a much larger data set. And as you can see, our data set is large scale, domain diverse, works on multiple granularities and revision depths. In addition, we also release the edit intention labels as a basis for future corpus development to computationally model the task. So this figure shows a little bit about how these edit intentions are distributed in the data set across different domains and across different revision depths. For archive, you can see that meaning change edits are also the most frequent edits, which indicates that authors focus on updating the information in their abstracts, like maybe new results or new insights or new claims. For Wikipedia, we find that fluency, coherence, and meaning change edits roughly share a similar frequency, which means Wikipedia articles have more complex revision patterns than archive and news articles. And for news, we can see fluency edits are equally emphasized, which indicates that improving grammatical correctness of news articles is just as important. So as one of the first steps, we analyze how do revisions affect text quality. To answer that question, we ran 2 human evaluations with linguistic experts. We find that generally human revisions improve the overall quality of original documents, the overall score. However, we see that style edits degrade the quality of the original sentences, and this observation makes sense since style edits reflect the writer's personal writing preferences, their style or their choice of words. However, they're still important to convey what they want to communicate in terms of their tone, for example. We also evaluated text by automatic metrics, and we find that these metrics are not well aligned with human judgments, and that calls for a need to explore other effective automatic metrics to evaluate fluency and coherence in documents. You can see that blurred, for example, decreases, which makes sense because we find progressively more meaning change edits as depth increases. So to summarize the data set part, generally we find that human revisions improve the overall quality of the original documents. We find that clarity is the most frequent edit intention across domains. And we also find that there's a need to explore other effective automatic metrics to estimate text quality in documents. Moving on, let's talk about how we computationally model this task. Now that we have the preliminaries, which is the taxonomy, and we've collected a data set. So here's how our model works. We propose a 2-step approach to text editing where we first perform edit intent classification, where we first predict the spans that need revision, and the type of revision that's needed by the edit intention. Then then the predicted sentences or the predicted spans are given to a text revision model, which actually makes these edits, leading to a new document revision. It's important to know that we include the predicted edit intention annotations as context to the revision model, and that leads to better performance. Okay, so here's how it works. We see that we have a document with, let's say, n sentences. We take a context window of k sentences. I've shown that here with k equals 2. So we pair every 2 sentences. We first predict the spans that need revision and the type of revision that they need by the edit intention. And then for the predicted spans, we send it to a text revision generator model, which actually makes the revision, makes the edits, and that leads to a new version of the new document revision. This process will repeat till we hit a stopping criteria, where let's say in our case, no more edits are needed. And that's where we can say that the revision process has ended. Finally, we have the finalized version of the edited document. And a little bit more about the results. So through evaluations and through experiments, we show that our system outperforms previous state-of-the-art and baseline models in both automatic and manual or human evaluations through across different edit intentions, across different test sets. We also shed some light on the behavior of the text revision system by iteratively applying the system to a set of essays. So on the left, we have edit intention trajectories across depths, where our system is applied to essays written by students with an intermediate level of English, whereas on the right side, we see the similar setting, but our system is applied to essays written by students with a higher level of English. And we can see that the system makes fewer revisions for fluency for the essays written by the latter group of students, which gives a peek into how it helps with effective writing for people with different kinds of writing assistance needs. So the takeaways from the modeling side are that edit intention annotations are helpful in making text revisions, which is why we have this two-step approach instead of a single-shot sequence-to-sequence model, which can just take the disfluent text and generate the more fluent text. We see that modeling this problem is extremely challenging. Through human evaluations, we observe that there's a big gap between the best performing model and human revisions. And finally, we see that our text revision models can learn to perform iterative revision and adapt by learning when to stop revising or providing the right kind of feedback according to the nature of the input text. Finally, let's dive into the UX aspect of the process of writing assistance. So now we've formulated the task, we've collected the data set, we've built the models. The question now is, does this really help in better writing experience? So what we did was the following. So given an initial document, a typical writing assistant system will go through all the sentences, identify different possible edits that can be applied to each sentence. These documents are then revised through using these edit suggestions. Then the system will keep on iterating until some stopping criteria is reached, and the process can either continue or it can stop. However, what we did is we built a read, revise, repeat kind of human-in-the-loop system where we insert this, we make the user a part of the writing process where each suggested edit is reviewed by the writer, either where they can control what edits to apply to the text, what edits to ignore. And this process, again, continues iteratively until the stopping criteria is reached. And so with this system, what we hope to achieve is the following. We would like to improve writers' writing experience by helping them focus on only parts that need their attention. We want to provide writers with fine-grained and interpretable suggestions. And by doing so, improve the efficiency and effectiveness with possibly fewer iterations and fewer number of edits. And that will lead to a more seamless and more effective editing experience. And how did we validate these things that we wanted to accomplish? We conducted a user study with 2 research questions. One is, does the writer get a good revision experience using our system? And secondly, does our human-in-the-loop system produce higher quality of revised documents? So what we did was we hired 3 linguistic experts to interact with our system. They were asked to compare model-generated edits with human-written edits, and we basically provided them with 2 separate sets of suggestions. And then when interacting with the systems, they were not informed about the source of the edits, so they did not know whether the edits were generated by humans, by another human, or by our system. They were only asked to accept or reject edits, and they did not have any control over the stopping criteria. And so we answered the first question by calculating the user's acceptance rate to our edit suggestions. And a high acceptance rate indicates that the generated edits are more meaningful and helpful to users. So as shown here, the users are consistently accepted edits generated by our system more consistently than edits proposed by another human. And we also asked them for feedback regarding how their experience was with the system, and they reported an increased value in the convenience and productivity. They were not satisfied with the the retention aspect of it or the overall this criteria called satisfaction, where they felt more could be done by the system. And we found that this was because we did not really make good investments in furnishing in the front end. The edits were sometimes overlapping, or the diffs were not properly formatted, and that's, again, a work in progress. But still, the convenience and productivity aspect and acceptance rate are very encouraging insights. The second thing that we did was ask them, we measured the average depth of revisions in documents that they interacted with. We saw the number of edits and the quality of edits, which was, again, evaluated by a different set of linguistic experts. And we see that overall, the system human setting leads to lower number of edits, which means the overall revision process becomes more efficient. There's less number of edits that are needed. There's less number of revisions that are needed. And at the same time, the quality is much more improved. All right, so in terms of conclusion, so we proposed a new taxonomy. This taxonomy, which generalizes to multiple domains, granularities, revision depths. We collected, annotated, and released a data set for the task with iterative human revisions for further research. We computationally modeled the task and the process of iterative text editing using state-of-the-art text editing and text generation models, and expose the challenges in the process. And finally, we analyze the user experience behind these different editing patterns, and that provide crucial insights towards building a better writing assistance process. And for future work, we plan to collect better data by achieving a better alignment with linguistic experts and users to learn what good quality text really means. We are exploring techniques like reinforcement learning from human feedback for text editing, which is a work in preparation. We obviously would like to leverage the power of large language models for text editing to generate even better quality edits. And as I mentioned before, better user interface, better ways to provide feedback, learn from user preferences to make the revision process even more efficient and effective. And that was it. Thank you so much.